Hello and welcome back to the channel. So far this year there's not been much time nor resources for vinyl purchases, but in this video we'll go over about 20 titles from the classical genre that I've found thus far in 2025. There are a good amount of jazz, minimal, ambient, and other genres as well, but I'll save those for another video. We'll start off with Schubert's Death in the Maiden with the Juilliard String Quartet from the RCA Living Stereo series. Here being played at the lovely Common Wave Hi-Fi showroom in Los Angeles, on a Kuzma turntable through Accuphase components and these massive tannoy speakers. I found two copies of this title, both original Shaded Dogs from 1960, US Indianapolis pressing. The first one was found at Blind Dog in Costa Mesa, with a Ravage sleeve VG- vinyl, 3S 1S stampers. The second title was found at Amoeba, with an even poorer sleeve I would grade at fair, but the vinyl being a VG plus NM-. Again, 3S 1S stampers on this one as well. You'll notice on the Amoeba copy that the opening quote on the title is missing. Between the two, the Amoeba copy purchased for only $10 is the clear winner. Some faint ticks and pops, but the beautiful and lush string tone of the quartet kind of overrides that negative factor. This is a gorgeous quartet music, recorded by Louis Layton, on the RCA Victor Red Seal LSC catalog number 2378. Sticking on the original RCA Living Stereo from March 1959, this is LSC 2292, Charles Munch with the Boston Symphony Orchestra, The French Touch. This was again purchased at Blind Dog Records, a 1S original US stereo. This is a title that isn't much talked about, a compilation of French compositions from Dukas, Saint-Saëns, and Ravel, with the clear coup de grace being the Mother Goose Suite from Ravel. I also picked up a 2018 pressing of the Analogue Productions reissue. All of the Analogue Productions reissues feature a thick, glossy Stoughton jacket with 200-gram black vinyl being remastered from the original tapes at Sterling in Nashville by Ryan K. Smith. As of this video being made in early July 2025, this title is still in stock at Acoustic Sounds. And the last RCA Living Stereo, here again an Analogue Productions reissue, is Richard Strauss with Fritz Reiner conducting the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra, Till Eulenspiegel, and Death and Transfiguration. This is one of the few reissues from the Analogue Productions Living Stereo series that were cut by Willem McKee. Here the Living Stereo, catalog number 2077, originally released in 1959. Despite the campy puppetry cover, this is gorgeous and ornate music, sweeping crescendos and deep low valleys throughout. Moving on, a handful of titles from the Analogphonic audiophile label from South Korea, a violin soloist who is new to me, the Russian phenom Victoria Mullova. In this first title, Mullova playing violin concertos from Tchaikovsky and Sibelius, with the Boston Symphony Orchestra conducted by Seiji Ozawa. Here a double black vinyl remastered reissue in a gatefold jacket. Released in 2021, this was remastered by Sidney Meyer at the Emil Berliner Studios and pressed in Callas. I found this title and the following three at the Stereo Unlimited Hi-Fi and Vinyl Shop in San Diego, California. Highly recommended if you're in the Southern California area to pop in and check out their dedicated jazz and classical vinyl rooms. The second title from Mullova is Works for Solo Violin, with pieces from Bach, Bartok, and Paganini. This was reissued in 2014 from the original Decca. Mullova's playing is measured and restrained, with a perfect balance and weight in her bow hand. The tone is marvelous, and I can highly recommend any of these Analoghphonic reissues. Last from Mullova are the violin concertos from Mendelssohn, with Sir Neville Marriner conducting Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. This was released in Germany originally in 2019, again remastered at the Emil Berliner Studios, this time by Reiner Maillard, and pressed at Callas. This one was originally recorded in London in January of 1990. This one mastered from the original tapes, originally released on Philips. Most of these Analoghphonic titles go in and out of print and can get pricey on the third-party markets. Well worth keeping an eye out for if you're interested in violin music. Last of the bunch from the Stereo Unlimited is Ruggiero Ricci, The Glory of Cremona. Here reissued from the original Brunswick label from 2019, remastered at the Emil Berliner Studios and pressed again at Callas. This is a collection of 14 violin-centric pieces, played masterfully by Ricci, this release being the first album I have featuring Ricci on violin. Next is Giaconda de Vito, again more violin concerto music, with Kubilek conducting both the LSO and the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, with Bach's Concerto in E major and Mozart's Violin Concerto No. 3 in G. This is a 180-gram reissue from Testament, who mainly reissues EMI, HMB, and some Angel titles, all based in the UK. There are still a handful of these titles, mostly violin-centric music, still available at Acoustic Sounds, or if you're in the UK or the EU, ordering direct from the Testament website yields a lot more titles. Next, again from Testament, it's Maria Callas with the Orchestra National de France, conducted by Georges Petre. I found this used on Discogs and it made a very low offer and was happy it was received. I absolutely love Maria and had recently watched a documentary about her life. If you're unfamiliar and/or if you like opera music, I highly recommend viewing. I'll put a link below. The second Callas title is Callas Sings Operatic Arias by Puccini. This is a mono 180-gram reissue, again from the Testament label. Callas is at her finest. Her voice is nothing short of miraculous, angelic, and haunting. Incredible music. Last from the Testament bunch is Bruckner Symphony No. 9, conducted by Carl Schuricht. This symphony was originally composed in 1894, with the first recording of this music published in 1962 from the EMI label. I absolutely love the dark, gothic, kind of horror-esque imagery on the cover. This is grand music. Broad, sweeping, deep lows and shimmering highs. A beautiful pressing from an underrated label. Keep an eye out for Testaments. Next is a title that I've almost bought about 20 times and finally pulled the trigger. I found this for the original price still sealed at Blind Dog in Costa Mesa, California. It's Dvorak with the New World Symphony No. 5 in E minor. Istvan Kertesz conducting the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. This is from Speaker's Corner, a stereo 180-gram reissue, originally released in 1993 from the original 1961 Decca recording. This is a pure analog audiophile remastering. If you can find this title, which is still somewhat available, especially on Discogs, I'd highly recommend picking it up. Probably my favorite symphonic work from Dvorak. Moving on to a Stravinsky title, this is Ansermet conducting the Orchestra de la Suisse Romande with Petrushka, reissued by Speaker's Corner in 1993 from the first recording published by Decca in 1958 in England. I also have the Mercury Living Present Speaker's Corner reissue of Antal Dorati conducting this music, but I think I prefer this version. Something about the combination of Ansermet with the Orchestra de la Suisse Romande is magical. I love the Cyrillic typeface and the imagery on the cover as well. Not my favorite piece of music from Stravinsky, that might be the Firebird, but Petrushka is a close second, a must-have for any classical collection. On to another label that is somewhat new to me. I've been keeping an eye out for and picking up titles whenever I see them. They're usually inexpensive, with the jackets thin and usually banged up. All the vinyl I found in my cases have been usually clean in contrast to the jackets. Here's the Adagio for Strings by Barber, Symphony No. 3 from Ives, Quiet City from Copeland, with two other pieces from Cowell and Creston. Neville Mariner here conducting the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. This is a 1976 UK pressing from Argo. I love this collection of music, and I adore this painting on the cover. This was recorded at St. John's Church in London, produced by Chris Hazel. This was very inexpensive, only $10 or $12. Striking fidelity and a beautiful performance of this collection of music. The music we've been listening to in the background is from Marisa Robles. This is Harp with Variations, a 1967 original UK pressing from Argo, playing music from Mozart, Handel, Beethoven, Albanese, and others. Again, this thin laminated jacket is VG at best, but the vinyl being a strong VG++. I found this at Amoeba in Hollywood for $3.99. With a simple cleaning, it cleaned up perfectly. A really silent pressing, beautiful music. My new friend Nathan in Rochester came into a collection of a lot of the RCA Living Stereo reissues from the classic records. I picked up a handful, the first being the Dvorak Cello Concerto played by Piatigorsky. This is the 180-gram version, LSC 2490. This is a piece of music I have a couple other versions of, my favorite being that of Janos Starker, but Piatigorsky gives him a run for his money. This is a clean copy and a beautiful reissue, remastered from the original tapes by Bernie Grunman. Next is everyone's favorite violinist Heifetz, playing the Beethoven Violin Concerto in D, with Charles Munch conducting the Boston Symphony Orchestra. This is a 200-gram Quayax reissue, original LSC 1992, RCA Living Stereo Shaded Dog. Reissued by Classic Records in 2003, this was recorded at Symphony Hall in Boston with Jascha Heifetz's masterful violin, cascading over this music. I'm not the hugest Beethoven fan, but Heifetz's touch and Munch's masterful conducting really make this recording a standout. The first of two Sibelius titles, this is the Classic Records reissue of Symphony No. 2, with Monteau conducting the LSO, 200 gram from Classic Records, with the original RCA catalog 2342, here again remastered from the original tapes by Bernie Grunman on 200 gram Quiex SVP vinyl. This was a title I had never seen in the wild, nor had I heard this version of this music, but happy to add it to the collection. Another Sibelius, this is Alexander Sandy Gibson conducting the LSO through Symphony No. 5 in the Corellia Suite. This is a 180 gram reissue from the RCA Living Stereo catalog number 2405. I had the Analog Productions version of this title in my wish list for years and never pulled the trigger. With the Analog Production titles dwindling from their website in recent months, I finally decided to pull the trigger, and when I did, it was too late. I was lucky to find this near mint copy from my friend Nathan from a collection he purchased. And lastly for today, a 200 gram reissue of the LSC 2298. This is Borodin and Rimsky-Korsakov, the LSO conducted by Jean Martinon, playing Symphony No. 2, the Capriccio Espagnol, and the March from Tsar Sultan. I absolutely adore this cover. Again, a copy I was looking to get from Analog Productions, but waited too long. This was originally released in the magical year of 1959, with this beautiful cover. I have another version of this from ORG, but I prefer the single disc 33 RPM version of the Symphony No. 2 here in this case. Thanks for watching and your interest in the classical pickup so far this year. Please follow my Substack for more content, videos, interviews, artist profiles, and features on deep listening.